What's going on? How you doing out there? My name is Nehemiah Jeffrey. Is paying off your house a big mistake? In this video, we're going to dive into the pros and cons of each one. While you're here, hit the subscribe and like button to get more content just like this. So with a 15-year mortgage, the interest rate is going to be lower than a 30-year mortgage, right? The payments that you pay per month is going to be higher, right? The inverse is true with a 30-year mortgage. Okay, the payments that you pay per month are going to be lower, right? But the interest rate is going to be higher. So as you embark on this decision, in my opinion, it depends on where you're at in your life. How much money you're making each month, how much can you actually afford, what are your other living expenses? Because you don't want to take out a 15-year mortgage, all your money gets swallowed up in the mortgage, and then you don't have money for food. If you have kids, you can't buy school supplies. You got to pay for insurance. You got to pay for taxes each year in your house. So you got to be able to have enough money to be able to pay for all the other living expenses that are a part of life. So after that part is true, I would say I always lead with going with a 30-year mortgage because it's just a bit more safe. The 30-year mortgage, as I've just explained, the payments are lower. So with that being said, you have the opportunity to use the extra money for other things that may come up. The caveat, though, is that you can pay down your mortgage principal anytime you want to. So it's not like you're tied in. It's not like you can't pay the mortgage payment when you want to pay for it. You can pay for it anytime you want. The only thing is I would call the bank to make sure that the extra payments you send in to the bank is going towards the principal and not going towards the interest. Sometimes they will charge you a prepayment penalty, but some banks do not charge a prepayment penalty. So it's something to look at and to see if the bank does it or not. Nonetheless, you can make payments towards decreasing the principal amount. For instance, if you get a bonus at your job, or if you get extra money from a side job that you did, or if you're a freelancer and have extra income coming in, or you just have extra money sitting around, you can do this. But the name of the game is to always keep a cash reserve. You never want to blow up and use all your cash reserve to pay down your mortgage because things come up. There was a lady that I read about earlier today, and apparently she went to a church and she told the preacher at the church that my husband just died unexpectedly. He was in his late 40s, right? So relatively young. And she got a life insurance check. And she asked the preacher, what should I do with my life insurance check? Well, not the preacher. She asked her surrounding circle, what should she do with her life insurance check? And the people in her inner circle said, pay off that mortgage. Pay it off. Therefore, you won't have any issues when things come up, right? So she said, okay. She paid off her mortgage, and now she don't have any mortgage payments. What a good feeling that is. Now, the only issue is she has kids. When the kids go back to school, they need school supplies. They need uniforms. They have other activities that need to be funded at school. You know how these kids are. Every week is something wrong. Every week they got something going on. Okay, you got doctor bills. You got insurance. So now she used all her cash reserves to pay down her house. Was that the smartest thing to do? Maybe she could have spent half the money to pay off her mortgage, or maybe 25% of the money to pay off her mortgage and keep the other money in cash. And maybe she could have invested that money, some of that money in the S&P or a wealth fund account to make a cool 4 to 8% per annum, depending on her strategy and depending on where she's at in her life. So the main thing is to evaluate where you're at in your life and what are your goals and what are your objectives 10, 20, 30 years down the road. On that note, is paying off your house a huge mistake? Well, it all depends on you and your certain situation. But hopefully I was able to outlay the pros and cons of this. And on that note, peace and love. I'll see you soon.